I know a couple of Freemasons and Rosicrucians and other people of secret societies. And what I've always known is that those people are not necessarily bad. We know that, right? And I am an initiate into those secrets as well. This is exactly what I teach on this channel, and even more of the secrets behind the paywall or inside my programs, if you so will. But one thing that I can share with you, and one thing about occultism, there is a saying that is things are hidden in plain sight, right? Things are hidden in plain sight. And that means that everything is actually so obvious for the ones who see. And the thing that is so obvious for the ones who see is that humans are animals, right? Humans have an animal nature, just like the depiction, because that is one of the symbols that Freemasons use, is the Baphomet. Baphomet is a depiction of what other people call the devil, right? Where it is the lower nature, like half of the Baphomet is, I think it's a goat or something like that, right? Like the feet and the belly of a goat, or I think maybe even the whole body is a like a goat like depiction. Then it has breast and also a penis probably, and then it's like as above so below, right? Like is like the arms are like that, and I think there is like a like a star above his head, something like that. And many people interpret it as evil or as the devil, right? Like this is how, let's call it, the mainstream depicts the devil. It's with the horns, right? And with a little bit like an animal body, with a goat body. And that is ultimately just a symbol, a depiction of that we as humans are in this animal body, right? We are animals. We are very, very much, we have a lot of similarities just physically with apes, right? That's just what it is. And everyone who denies it is delusional. So we're apes. Okay, we're animals. And then the above so below is a universal principle, and what it ultimately means is as above so below. It's like in our mind, what we can see in our mind we can manifest, but also things like what's happening in the stars, in the solar system, astrology, astronomy, is influencing our physical world on the planet, right? But I want to focus a little bit more as on above so below in the mind, so we can bring it to life. Okay. And also having the penis and the breast is being mastered in the masculine and the feminine. That is also the individuation process. Every ancient teaching, whether it is the occultism, starting from ancient Egypt over Greeks and the philosophers to, as said, the Masons, the Freemasons, and the Rosicrucians, and then later on, like the American transcendentalists or other schools of thought, because that's ultimately what it is. It's a school of thought. It's what else? The ones in France and with what's her name? Yeah, Madame, I forgot her name. There are different schools of thoughts, right? All over the world. And also African spirituality. There are different depictions and symbols. People always try to make sense of what's actually going on here, like the spiritual nature of this reality. And but going back to the breast and the penis and the individuation process, this is then later what is a big part of European culture, right? We are very centered in science, which is also ultimately drawn from ancient teachings like Freud or um, Jung, Carl Jung, who studied the subconscious, who found out that um, we have those dreams, and those dreams, right? They're like synchronicities in reality. And he spoke about the individuation process and the animus and the anima, like the inner feminine and the inner masculine in men and women, right? Women have their inner masculine, men have their inner feminine. And this is the same thing as the symbol of the yin yang, right? There is the feminine in the masculine and the masculine in the feminine. Okay. Now I just gave you like all of the ground, right? The ground. And that is also the Baphomet, right? Like the devil, the animal, man, female, as above, so below, all of that. So that is that is ultimately what the Masons know. That is a symbol. Okay, I understand. Human nature, as I always like to say, like I teach human nature and how to master yourself and how to master this life by learning yourself and mastering yourself and using the tools. What tools? Mental tools. What tools to build the life that you desire is mental. It's also one of the secrets of the Hermetics, right? The all is mind, the universe is mental. All of those things are true. All of those things together are true, right? And also what Jesus taught, or Yeshua, Hamashiach, right? He was an occultist. Like Jesus was ultimately an occultist. He taught those things in a very easy, simple way because he understood that they can't hear the truth. So you give it to them in pictures, in symbols, in parables, in stories, in coded, encrypted language. So people understand because the mind loves stories and pictures without telling people the ultimate truth. Okay? That is the groundwork we lay here. Okay? And if you're turned off by anything, if anything of that triggered you and you're like, oh my God, she's of the devil, maybe I am. And maybe the devil is not what you think it is, right? So that is the groundwork. And one thing that like Masons know is to learn the tools of the mind in order to create power structures. But one of the things that is like basic teachings is understanding human nature, and that we have the lower nature, which is very animalistic, very primal, very reptilian brain, very much triggered, afraid, right? Very afraid to survive in this world, right? Because before we had everything that humans created, because everything we see now today is something that a human created, from the house we live in, the bed we sleep on, the lighting that I'm using, the phone that I'm using, everything here inside my room was created by a human. But before we had all the inventions that humans created through the mind, we were animals in the forest, right? Or we lived closer to nature, let's say that, right? Because what separates the human from an animal is the brain, and is the capacity to think. That is the ultimate God power. That is it, right? The thinking is the ultimate God power. And learning human nature, learning that we have this more fear based, survival based brain that will signal reflex in a reflex mode, in a knee jerk reaction mode, will reflect to us, oh, I'm in danger, right? Whether it's other people who look different than me, whether it is like for a woman, like a man, a male predator, or an animal, or like the dark, right? Not being able to see. Like all of these things are natural. It's in us, it's in our bodies, it's encoded in us through ancestors, right? In our DNA, because our DNA contains information from the generations that have come before us. This is why people say like you have to like worship your ancestors. Your ancestors are inside your body, right? And sometimes I speak about intuition a lot. Intuition is also like trusting the information inside of your body. Good. So, but what I want to say is that again, studying human nature and understanding that all the things, all of the knee jerk reaction, all of the automatic responses that we have as people, those are, this is the lower nature. It's not good or bad. It is just not necessarily beneficial to create, to claim your creative power as a human that has not only the reptilian brain, but the prefrontal cortex with which you can do long term thinking, planning, pattern recognition, right? Like those are the things that make you human, and the reptilian brain is part of that. So we want to cultivate the prefrontal cortex and the midbrain. I don't know exactly what that name is, but we want to learn how to use this. And this is not only here, but the brain is connected to the autonomic, to the nervous system, right? Everybody's speaking about nervous system regulation now. You also regulate your nervous system by thinking new thoughts, right? By thinking new thoughts, okay? So, this is what Masons learn. And this is what Freemasons learn. They're free in the world, and they're free to build. This is also what I want to share is that every time you hear the word build, builder, I'm a dream builder. I am a Mason. I use the same techniques. And this is what every creative person knows. Everyone cultivates their mind through meditation, through mental practices, and through tools, thinking tools. And tools, everything that I'm sharing on this channel, how to create the life of your dream, there is a system behind it, a formula. It's like math. If you put this and this together, this is coming out, right? And tools, as I also teach you, how to overcome fear, doubt, and worry is a mental tool. How to let go of the things that are keeping you down, forgiveness, right? How to trust your intuition, connect to your primal nature because it's a source of information as well. And this is now what I'm speaking about now. It's about the thinking, right? It's about understanding that you are an animal, and to come to terms with that, that is ultimately shadow work, is to understand that you are an animal. You have the desire to live, to live, to be free, right? But also to be protected, to be safe, to survive. You need to eat. Yeah, you need to eat. You need to be safe. You have to have food, clothes, shelter, right? The basic hierarchy of like the hierarchy of needs by Maslow. And all these things you need to know in order to understand that it is not bad, it's not dark to be an animal. You want to survive, and that's the ultimate and first priority of your life. And that's a very important thing, okay? So it's about survival of the fittest. It's about assuming that you have power, right? And it is about you understanding how you can use your own power to not necessarily destroy. And this is where some kind of morality comes in. If you don't know better, you don't do better. But once you know better, you can do better. So we don't judge over here, but it's time, if you found this place, it's time to move beyond, right? Because the thing that helps you destroy can also help you build, right? Like if you act from your animal nature, you destroy. But if you learn how to create solutions, you can build, and you can build beyond yourself. And that is ultimately creating a legacy, not through violence, not through violence, but through building, through helping other people live better lives. That is what ultimately creates a leader, somebody who creates a work environment, right? Who creates workplaces so other people can apply themselves, work, get compensated, can eat, can feed their family. That is a leader. That is somebody who creates legacy, somebody who creates a system where they can help others also create value for others and themselves, right? It's not about destruction, it's about building something of value to you and others. Yeah. So, very, very, very important. Contributing, using the same power for good instead of bad. That is the ultimate differentiator. That's why people are so afraid of, maybe like, if you got it if you stayed until here, you are my people. But everyone who clicked off or never even clicked on the video is people that are afraid of what they have been told about the devil and occultism and Freemasons and all of that. This power is being used to control the masses, because if people are unaware of their impulses, and if they are ashamed, if they're ashamed of their power, their sexuality, their animal nature, they will not explore it, and therefore it is unconscious. And if something is unconscious, it can be dominated and ruled over, right? So that is the ultimate differentiator. A lot of like the powers that be, they, right? Also, the people who know the secrets of life, right? They, some of them are of the light and some of them are of the dark. Just like in the movie Doctor Strange, right? That is it. You learn things you have to be initiated into, because the initiation is a rites of passage into power. And that's exactly what I do. If you want to learn how to create the life of your dream, comment down below Dream Builder and let's talk about it, right? If you feel the calling to be a leader who builds beautiful things, not destroy, like not destroy for the greater good of all. But this is the thing. Also, like in Doctor Strange, there was a like the conflict between the light and the dark, and the dark learned from the light, and the light sourced the energy from the dark. And that's what it is, like the light, in order to be of the light, you have to master your darkness, but you never get rid of it, you pull from it. I know, like, this is getting super nerdy, but I love it, and I hope that you understand what I'm speaking about. So the thing about, it's the same energy, as I said. Some people use it to manipulate and control the masses. We've seen it for a very, very long time. The masses are at the bottom, and most of the people will never learn what I'm putting down here. And that's why they will stay controlled, because they never master themselves. They never master their impulses. They don't master their animal nature, so they can ascend to become a higher order of being. Many, like the 1% or the 5%, they use it to rule over the 95% or 99%. But as we're seeing, more and more people are waking up, and those are the people who actually went into initiation into mystery schools, into being initiated into the power of occultism, archetypal work, masonry, right? The power of the mind, being a brave thinker. That's who I am. I learned from the Brave Thinking Institute to become a life mastery consultant. And those are the people who are initiated into the same arts as people who also use it for the dark. But we use it for the light because again, that's the whole thing, and I'm sure you've heard that before, that it's just tools. And some people use the tools for good, and some people use the tools for bad. But it's the same tool, just like using a hammer, right? Some people use a hammer to destroy something, some people use a hammer to build something. And again, going back to the Mason and the Freemasonry, the logo, right? The symbol of Freemasonry is the I don't even know how it's called in English, but the thingy and the like that, right? Like the to build something round and angular, right? I think it's something like that. And that is the symbol, and it's a symbol of using the tools of the mind to build what we see in this world. Architecture, infrastructure, those things were built by the powerful because they understood the laws of nature, but also the laws of mathematics and aerodynamics and things like that. It's mathematical. The laws of life and the law of building are natural, mathematical, physical laws. You understand? And the same tools you can use to build your life. Masonry, builder, being an architect. A lot of people use that word today as well, right? Cultural architect, design architect, or fashion architect, brand architect, right? It's about thinking and using the tools of thinking to create something that you know that humans love, they desire. Because studying human nature ultimately will lead you to understand that it's not that deep. Like people love beauty, people love power, people want to survive, people want to grow and become stronger, people want to procreate. And then there are the ones who only procreate mentally, right? Because they want to use all of their sexual life force energy to actually build something in this life. And some use their energy, and that is a lot of times poor people and uneducated people who are not initiated into the laws of thinking because they think they're powerless. They think they're powerless, so they don't use their power, they don't assume their power, and they don't manifest their power. Most of the time, those are the people who only use their life force energy to create children, to populate the earth. But that's the lowest form of using your sexual energy. Creating children is beautiful and nice, but if you don't teach them how to master themselves, it is like animals, right? So nobody, that's why like nobody has to be or have achieved anything to create a child. It's very easy, it's very carnal, it's animalistic. But people who actually assume power and grow into their power and want to and grow in their psychological and metaphysical in their execution, they want to build something. Those are people who know that they have to harness the energy, their sexual energy, their life force energy, and channel it into building something effective. That is Freemasonry. That is masonry. That is being an initiate into some kind of secret society. It is understanding human nature, it's understanding self mastery, and it's understanding the tools of mental creation. and how that works. Yeah. So guard your mind, right? Because the people who know the secrets know that in order to use you, use your life force energy, they have to tell you a story. And that is in the mind, because your body is the resource, especially for women. Your sexual energy is the resource. And and this is what I said in a previous video, if your mind is focused on men, where the mind goes, energy flows, right? If the picture in your mind of desire, your focus, right? If people tell you the ultimate thing you have to desire is marriage, that is the picture in your mind. That's what you've been subconsciously programmed to believe, that you need a man. So that's the picture in your mind running subconsciously. So where attention goes, energy flows, and your sexual energy flows towards wanting a man, having a man, serving a man, being of use to the man. So the man ultimately sucks you dry. But if you deconstruct the picture, if you deconstruct the stories of the mind, of culture, of religion, of gender roles, of whatever people tell you you should do, you should be, do, have, detach from it, dive in, and find out what you really want, right? And I can suggest to you that the first thing that you want is self-preservation, is that you want to use your energy to build a desirable life for you, and not to give away your energy to whatever you believe, whatever story you have been sold, that's where you should focus your energy to. Also, being a woman in corporate, nothing is right or wrong, but a woman being in corporate, if you think that's what gives you value, or that's who you should be, where attention goes, energy flows. You're putting your life force energy into something, and the question is, will it sustain you long term? You understand? So, all billion-dollar industries are built on human understanding, understanding human behavior, human psychology, and what men and women want and need and why, right? What do people need and want? That's what the industries understand. So ask yourself, maybe, what do you want? What do you need? And is it what other people are selling you? It's about liberating your mind, right? It's getting free of mind control, of subconscious programming from years and centuries. Again, it's not only this lifetime, but it's the program of how women and men have been indoctrinated for years and centuries. So, yeah, that's what it is, right? What the initiates, the Freemasons know, is how to control the masses, how to tell stories that make people feel inferior, like you're nothing, you're not worth anything, your life is worth nothing. And then selling people products, services, things, ideas that they believe, or that they think they need to buy in order to be somebody, right? It's a very good story. It works, right? So people just believe, oh, that's what I need. Women buy beauty products all day long, or how to lose weight and things like that is a million billion dollar industry. Yeah. because that women want to be beautiful, men want to be strong. So everything rooted in the real human nature is what the ones who know human nature sell you. I'm not saying it's wrong because most of the things you do need, but the question is, do I need it or do I want it? Right? Do I need it in order to feel good or do I want it to complement who I think I am? I know this video is getting long and complex, but that's it. The truth is, you lack nothing. You just love to use, like, you just need to use your brain and think. You have to think, right? Think and grow rich. Also, this whole stream of that kind of knowledge is connected to Freemasonry, right? Freemasonry, Rosicrucian initiated, right? Whatever you want to call it, like Egypt and Greece and the the teachings of the East, all of that, all of that is one, right? Everything points to the same truth, and that is that you are the universe, right? You have the light and the dark, the masculine and the feminine inside of you, right? You have emotions and you have the mind, and you are capable of mastering yourself, which I ultimately teach, so you can use your life force energy and the tools that you are learning to build the life that you desire. Yeah. So, yeah. Use your mind and build something that people want and need. And that is what will sustain you. That's what will sustain you. But this is where I'm going to end the video. I think that gives a good foundation of where I have my power or my resources from. I'm a student of the, you can call it occult, you can call it personal development, you can call it mystery schools, whatever. It is all rooted in one truth. It's to understand what is the human, what is the feminine, what is the masculine, what is our nature, what is our human nature, our more primal animalistic nature, and then how do we cultivate, because that is what alchemy is also ultimately, right? Transformation, I teach transformation, and transformation is alchemizing all of your human, which is the dark, right? Your human potential into reality. How to use what you have inside of you to manifest, create the life that you desire, your body, your relationships, your business, and your money, right? Like, you want to build a full spectrum life that you desire through the tools and the concepts and the wisdom and the knowledge of human nature, self mastery, and building. Okay, so that's it for now. See you in the next one.